Welcome back to Late Night at the Movies on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. This is episode 69, and we're watching Collateral. Shout out to my mom for this prop. Now, nice. Apparently this one got banged up in the mail, so she's going to be sending me a new one. But yeah, kind of fun. I got to get some chalk.
We need the dry erase markers or something.
I wasn't prepared because I wasn't
an eco cut.
Yeah, just excited.
For next time, it's going to be written on there. So there you go. That'll be our official kind of start. Just
nice.
Fun little prop. But yeah, I'm your host, Nico. And joined with us today, we got the full Late Night at the Movies crew. We got Max here in the house. What's going on, Max?
What's up, guys?
We got JT down below.
Your special editor over here.
And Julie Mack, who just snuck in the movie Under the Wire to talk about it here today. I think she finished it on the toilet. It was okay.
Are you still watching it like on another monitor right now?
Over here. Just, if you see me glance to the side, don't worry about it.
That would really
Hey, listen, I put the work in.
You're a dynamo, Julie. We all strive to be as look at this guy still laughing.
As efficient as JT. That's it.
Yeah, I think that would be like the next level, Jay. That's like
yeah.
It'd be watching it in the car on the way down.
Can I be so fucking for real? I watched half of it. Well, not half of it, but part of it in the Uber on the way home. I got it started in the Uber.
Oh no, 2x speed.
You know
probably,
what?
right?
You know what? You better praise the shit out of this movie. I'm gonna kill you because these half-ass kind of like.
You just wait.
It's always on my pick too. I swear this is the case.
Hey, at least
I got you, Nico.
I put the fucking work in and I'm here.
No, we're
that I'm committed because I'm watching it at 2x speed to make sure I get it in time for the show.
Prop us up. Don't worry. If you bring us down with your criticism of this film. Anyways, no, it's all good. No, we'll get into it here though. But yeah,
I got a question before we do that. What the fuck? First of all, I watched back an episode to see the commentary on the intro video because this is the first time I've been here since we put it. True. I wasn't here for the premiere. What the fuck does that have to do with Tyler the Creator, dude?
Oh yeah. I don't even remember what that joke was in reference to.
I was
just making fun of JT. He said something.
JT's rants. He said something in relation to Tyler the Creator, and we kind of flipped it into how he's creative. I don't know. We were talking in between recording the episodes, and then Max threw the joke in right after we saw the intro to kind of relate it back.
It was a dig at JT, Julie. Like it wasn't nothing to do with the actual thing.
Nothing to do with you.
It's so like this is sort of our show, and we do like a lot of inside jokes that normal people have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. It's almost like. The show is really just made for the four of us.
Like, honestly,
pretty much.
As long as we're entertaining ourselves, though,
it's a digital footprint for us to go back and laugh.
Exactly.
That's all I wanted.
Long gone and done.
That's
this
literally
is our
the conversation I was having with you today because this guy was making fun of JT's math equation on the last episode. Shout out to Alan, by the way, who actually was here in place of Julie as our 100%. Guest last episode with Coherence, which was a really great.
Thanks for holding it down, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. I hope he comes back on in the future. He was a great guest. Yeah, so. But JT busted out some math equation and barely was able to basically read it out on the show. And this guy was laughing about it after the fact today. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? I wasn't sure if I should keep that in or if I should take that out. Will anybody else find that funny? But yeah, anyways, here we are. And
I'm surprised you didn't just tell him like, Jay, shut the F up. And can we get back to this discussion? Like, I was waiting for that to happen.
You gotta let him go off. You gotta let him,
I'm like, wow, Nico's really respectful.
He was cooking,
yeah. I think he was burning the food, bro.
Oh, boy.
But yes, there is a lot of inside jokes. So what they were referring to from last episode, there's no context.
I don't even remember what it was in reference to. Like, I think because we did like we did a trailer.
No, there was a math equation for the limitless.
No, we're not even talking about that. Don't worry about it. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
I understood what you're talking about, Jay. I watched it back. I know what you're talking about. They had some Amazon fact up on the screen. It had to do with the amount of guests and the amount of glow sticks they had or something. And the math worked out to be that number. Why they needed that math, I don't understand because I didn't watch the movie. But I understood what you were saying. You totally butchered the number, spitting out the actual digits.
Didn't know he calls it a triangle thingy. Like, I'm thinking he's thinking.
To be fair, when you think of like when you did math in school and you had something to the power of something else, they don't really use that What he's talking, I don't actually even know the name for it. That little
exponent.
Yeah, when they're doing exponents, they don't really use that symbol when you're doing it in school. They just put the tiny number.
Yeah, but Julie, to be fair, who's asking JT to talk about math
About
equations?
math, yeah.
Something he doesn't even understand. Like,
I did enjoy math at one point, but then it just I stopped, man. I just couldn't do it. I lost after 10 fingers and 10 toes. That was it, man.
That's all he needed.
That sounds about right.
Before we get into the pick, though, which is my pick this week, by the way, Collateral, of course, the Jamie Foxx, Tom Cruise, Michael Mann directed film. We'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
I did want to give a quick shout out, though. I hope you guys also checked out another episode because, we banked a couple for the summer, the end of summer. We all got really busy. We did put out an episode. If you guys missed it, go back in the playlist for Late Night at the Movies and check it out. And we hope to do these quarterly. We did our first movie draft. We did it for the year 2008. And again, shout out to my mother for another prop here today. I am awarding Julie with her very own award.
That's dope.
My Oscar came in.
Your Oscar came in.
So,
cool.
keeping that, or is this like
I mean, if I see Julie in person, I will give it to her. But basically, there's 4 sides to this thing. So I figured in a year's time, we will turn this baby around, and each person will win one side of this Oscar. Essentially,
I want the ass part.
Yeah, well,
is it like a Stanley Cup situation where you're like, you only keep it for?
I mean, it's so professional. I'm just putting little stickers on here that says Julie was the winner. Basically, I just printed them out here. There you go.
I love it.
But yeah, so Julie is the current winner for the 2008 movie draft winner for this year.
Undefeated thus far.
Let's keep it going. Maybe Max. Maybe one day you'll be able to get one of these for yourself.
I can only dream.
Yeah.
Big thank you.
That's funny.
Anyway,
separated by barely a point between us all.
Let me select the judge for the next one, and maybe I might win.
You know what? That might be a good thing to employ. Whoever comes in last might have to pick the judge.
Well, if you guys want to bang out some more of those details prior to the next episode, for sure. I don't care. I'm down for whatever. That was a lot of fun. Make sure to go check that out, guys, if you missed it.
We do a guest judge every time just to switch it up and be fun.
I just think it was a nice, fun little thing to do to keep it going, to kind of award the person who won. So there you go.
Straight up, thank your mom, man.
Yeah, she knows we do this, so she got us a couple of little props for the show here.
That's so fun. I love that.
Been a fan since day one.
That's right. Okay, so speaking of being a fan since day one, we're a fan of Michael Mann around here. This is our third Michael Mann directed film that we've done on the channel. We've done Heat. We've done Manhunter, both actually with me, JT, and Max. Actually, because I know you ended up missing out. I think on that one, Julie, where we talked about Manhunter.
Yeah,
I think we did that earlier this year, right? I think we did it this year, early in the year. Yeah. And we were talking about the reason I picked this recently is we were kind of talking about Tom Cruise within the chat. A bunch of us, me and Jay and Max, and we were I've to be honest, I've really come around on him as an actor. I never really liked him that much, but I feel like in the last couple of years, I've really made an effort to go back and watch a lot of the films that are considered to be classic films that he starred in.
For who?
Tom Cruise.
Oh,
and I quite liked a lot of them. And the reason I picked this is because this was one of the movies where it kind of, along with Last Samurai, which came out the year before this one, this was around the period where, for whatever reason, these were the first Tom Cruise movies I really enjoyed. There's reasons. Like for instance, what's that?
Pretty crazy Tom Cruise in a sense.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah, it was more his antics where he started to get weird outside of movies where I felt like I didn't really like him. And to be fair, I didn't really see a lot of the films of his that were considered to be good movies. Yeah, like there's all these things he did throughout the 90s and late 80s that I've now watched over the last couple of years that I really love that I never watched before. So like back when I started getting into watching movies more, I was probably in my 20s when I got around to watching this, right? So when I actually watched this, I definitely was in my 20s. So this was one of the first movies that I saw starring him where it actually took pause, and I was like, he's actually really good in this movie. And I really liked this because he was also playing a hitman in this film. Like, just the look of him in this movie, the fact that he was playing a bad guy, which I didn't really ever see of him. It was just instantly cool. And Max actually is the one that had brought this up last time when we talked about Manhunter, because that one's filled with like 80s vibes and music and all this kind of stuff. And I attribute it to him, who made this comment originally about Michael Mann, is that this guy just knows cool. Like, he is cool. Like, he the characters he writes in his movies are cool. The music that he puts in his movies a lot of the time, the pure vibes of it all. I mean, if you want to see a movie I've even come back around on now and that I've rewatched, I guess, in the last year or so, that's just pure vibes, is Miami Vice, also starring Jamie Foxx, which I know wasn't really critically successful when it came out. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's not one of my favorite Michael Mann movies either, but there's something to that movie, the music, the scenery, like the things that he captures in that film. It's just like pure vibes, honestly. And like, and I got to attribute some of that to this film and what made me actually start to like Tom Cruise. This was one of the movies that where I really started to turn around for me, where I'm like, oh, you know what? He's really good in this movie. I really enjoyed his performance. Jamie Foxx, this was an important part of his career as well, where he's starting to get like a lot of really good roles. He's also very good in this film. Definitely more of an understated role. He's kind of like Tom Cruise is the badass. He's kind of like, I don't want to call him a coward, because he steps up eventually in this film, but he's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more quiet, a guy not really reaching or stepping up to his full potential. That's kind of the plot about this movie. And like the whole philosophicalness of this film, two people meeting on a collision course, essentially, in their lives, like not really, like Tom Cruise being somebody who's like very strict about like the way he operates his life. And so is Jamie Foxx's character, but just in different ways. And Michael Mann's really good at doing this kind of thing. We've seen him do this in Heat, the exact same thing, where you find out the two characters, the cop and the criminal, De Niro and Pacino, are actually very much alike in many ways. And again, just a collision course to the end of the film where one of them gets taken out, similar to the ending in this movie, which I also think is fantastic. So like, and Michael Mann also doesn't get enough credit, I feel like everyone kind of cites Scorsese for his depiction of like Italian gangsters and gangster films and this kind of stuff. Michael Mann, there's no one else that kind of captures the criminal underworld the same way that Michael Mann does. Like between this, Miami Vice, Heat, Thief, like there's so many things I can point to and say like he just captures like an element of the criminal underworld and cops, the relationship with criminals, and like the way that smart criminals think and are able to kind of put things together, like plans and go about things, that I think like, you know, he's one of those directors I don't think that gets his due in that regard when it comes to that kind of thing. Or maybe people don't instantly think about him because, again, his gangster films, if you want to even call that, like they're not set up in the same way many of these films are. Like this one's a lot more heady. It's about like there's examination going on between these two characters. There's him talking about like getting into each other's heads and talking about their lives, and they really go on a journey together in this one night in this movie, like in the cab. You know, he's taking him to see his mother. You know what I mean? Like they're like, he gets in his head about his mom and but the girl, he doesn't have the, you know, I mean, isn't able to call because he doesn't believe in himself, or that she'd be interested in someone like him or whatever, or he's not taking the chance to actually move on in his life and do the business that he always wants to do. He keeps procrastinating and making up excuses. So like, I just really liked that self-examination of these two as individuals in this movie. And the more I've watched this movie, it seems like a very simple plot and premise, and it's a very tightly written film as you go through it, but there's layers to it. Like the more you watch this, you start examining different things and start delving deeper into what seems like a very simple plot. And it's honestly become one of my favorite Michael Mann films the more I've watched it. And I think I saw you comment on it. You put a little blurb of a review on Letterboxd the other day where you said gets better every time I watch it. And it really is one of those films. I've watched this like several times. My first time I watched this, I actually remember this. I actually do have a history of this with this movie. I went over to my buddy's house when we were in my 20s, and we're just having some drinks, and it was just casually on TV. It was on like the movie network or something. And he was like, and it was in the Fever nightclub scene, which is honestly one like that last 45
scene.
Yeah, that last 45 minutes of the film, once that scene hits and everything that comes afterwards, the pursuit, the rundown at the end, how it ends for Tom Cruise on the subway and all that. That the movie is so good at that point. That nightclub scene is probably like my favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes, if not my favorite scene of the whole film. I just love everything that happens in there. Again, the music clashing with like the him going through the club and like, you know, just taking people out and everything else that's in that scene. And I remember seeing that scene and I was like, wow, this movie's really good. Like, who is Tom Cruise is a bad guy? And my buddy's like, yeah. And after that, I ended up having to like go back and watch it because like we had just kind of watched it like halfway through at that point, and I instantly was a fan. Funny enough, years later, I seen this guy, and I mentioned it to him. I think I was on shrooms at the time when I saw it. Funny enough, and it was a memory that I had that I experienced with him, and I mentioned it to him about how he introduced me to this movie Collateral. And it's so funny because he's like, you know what? I watched that not too long ago. I don't like that movie anymore. I was just like, I was tripping out at the time. I was like, what? Really? Which I definitely was. It's just funny that happened at that exact moment. It just happened to be the circumstances when I ended up seeing him when we were hanging out, probably the last time that I saw him. And I hope I remember that correctly. And I just wasn't tripping out. I definitely was probably at the time, but but it's just funny how he's like, yeah, I rewatched that not too long ago. And it's not something that stuck with him, but it's like the opposite for me. I quite like this movie a lot. Let me see what else I have written down here. But yeah, like the whole storyline, like the B plot storyline about him having to go out and like make all these hits in one night for 5 targets that are kind of involved, I guess, in this case that they're putting together against the cartel, the Felix guy, which is Javier Bardem's character. I don't know if you guys were able to.
A lot of big names in this movie.
Yes, and very small parts, a lot of them too. And this is just, I guess, Jason in the first 2 minutes of the movie, who's just basically handing a briefcase off to him at the very start.
Not even the first 2 minutes.
Like fucking, what's her name? Debbie Mazar playing her classic bitch in the back of the car.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo, Javier Bardem. Yeah, this is just also at points of their career where
Jada.
Yeah, Jada Pinkett Smith. At a time, I actually still like Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, so there's a lot of big names. There's a lot of good talent in this. Probably, I guess, at the time that they were in the movie, and maybe not as big as they are now, a lot of these people. But Jamie Foxx was really good in this. Yeah, it's fantastic cast. I wrote that down as well. Also, like, yeah, that whole plot, again, it really, at the end of the day, that's kind of very inconsequential to the journey of these two characters. Like, that's kind of like if you guys piece that together, and I had to watch this movie a couple times to kind of figure out the plot, like how it all works together, because I feel like the first time you watch this, you may not understand everything that's going on with that. But that B plot of him doing the hits and all that, really, it takes a back seat to the main, I feel like, themes of this film, which is what's really going on between these two individuals, right? And I don't think you need to really get as involved in that. But then again, if you watch it a couple times and you pick up on that whole storyline as well, there's some interesting things in that too. Yeah, I think that's. I have no idea why Tom Cruise never played a hitman up to this point. Like, it seems like, honestly, like that last 45 minutes when he's chasing Jamie Foxx after that whole nightclub scene and stuff like that, he turns into the Terminator. And like the fact that, you know, he does like a lot of his own stunts and stuff like that. I just don't understand why no one else thought, or he had no desire maybe to play this type of character before now. It just seems like such a good role for him, honestly. Like, I loved seeing him as a bad guy. I liked the fact that he dies in this movie, right? So, yeah, I don't know. The whole gray hair, the suit that he's wearing, just the whole look that he has in this, right? The way that he shoots people with the double tap, how forceful that he makes it. Yeah, there's just so many things I like about him in this film. Yeah, and it's the love letter to LA that Michael Mann does in so many of his movies. That's kind of the way he makes LA look in this. And also like big cities. Like there's that whole quote that he kind of busts out, which I'll bust out in quotes later, favorite quotes that he says about, and you know, it's kind of foreshadowing for the end of this film, how he dies on the subway, Tom Cruise's character. But it's so true of big cities. Like people, there's stuff that goes on every day in people's lives, and all these people just go right past you. And we don't know half the stuff that happens to everybody that's around us, right? Like, you know, so it just speaks a lot to big cities, not just LA, but I like how he kind of touched on that as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling here at this point. Let's get into maybe what you guys thought of the movie as well here, your history with the film. Let's start off with Julie here, because Julie, we know that you just finished watching this right before the recording. You were able to sneak her in. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, like I said, I watched part of it in the Uber on the way home, and the rest of it on 1.5 times when I got here. Huh?
I said, are you still watching it now?
I keep glancing at the side screens, just my notes, I swear. What little I do have of them because of time. But whatever, I just watched it. It's still fresh, right? But I got no notes. This was a fucking fire movie, dude.
Nice.
I got no notes.
I honestly didn't know if you were going to like this movie or not. You actually liked it?
This is a top fucking action movie to me. Here's what I was thinking. So,
there we go. You better not be saying this because I gave you shit about finishing the movie so last minute.
Listen, me. I texted Parth about it before it ended, and I said, this movie's fucking lit, dude.
Nice.
I'm really happy about this because I was not sure you were going to like this movie.
This was like Michael Bay done way better. Does that make sense?
Well, I don't know. You're a big fan of Michael Bay.
Yeah, he's cool.
But you know how like Michael Bay is kind of like, he's kind of campy now as far as like how things are like overdone, explosions, crazy. Like that's kind of the meme with Michael Bay. I feel like this had the same kind of guts to it, but it was done like written really well, but like the same kind of driven, action-packed.
I would say Michael Bay with more character development.
Yeah.
Like his actual characters in this, like more like, yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
The only beef I have is with fucking Mark Ruffalo's stupid earring. I hated that.
His whole look is very strange in this.
It was bizarre, but I was most upset about the earring.
He's got like a
they didn't need that for him.
I don't know what's happening with his facial.
They didn't need that. I don't know why they did that.
Andy Garcia look going on over there.
I don't know, but no, this was fucking. Cool. I was locked in.
Is it supposed to be like an undercover essay or something?
Especially hype because I was watching it at such a fast speed.
Oh my god!
So it was like twice as hype.
Well, that might be the way to watch it.
She was literally watching it in the back of an Uber,
which is probably the most fitting. Yeah, it's the most fitting place to watch
Guys,
it.
How's your night going? I was like, listen, I'm doing homework. I can't talk.
I'm doing homework. Yeah, straight up.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad this is your first time watching this movie.
First time I've seen it. Yeah, first time I watched it. It was funny actually. I went out to the kitchen when I was making food and stuff, and Levi asked me what movie we ended up watching, and he said he just watched it the other day too.
Nice.
Really?
Like just it must have been like recommended or something.
It's on Netflix currently as well for anybody who wants to watch it.
Yeah, that's where I watched it
on Netflix.
He saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
Nice. Has Parth seen this film?
No, he hadn't, and because he was so busy over the last couple of days, like getting ready for traveling and stuff, he was like, go ahead and watch it without me. Most of the podcast movies, he'd be like, when's movie night? And he wants to watch it with me. This one, he was just too busy. But yeah, when I texted him about it, and I was like, dude, this movie's fucking hype. You missed out.
Yeah, with him.
You missed out. And he was like, that's good.
Like you'd like it even more the second time you watch it, honestly. Like, yeah, it's I'm glad you liked it. I wasn't sure if you were going to like this one or not. And I also know you have your reservations about Cruise. Did you like him in the movie?
I think this was a perfect fucking role for him.
Yes, right.
It was great. I think, and
he's so cool as this character, like Victor in this movie, who Michael Mann also likes the name Vincent. Sorry, did I say Victor? Yeah, sorry. Vincent. Yeah. Like he also likes the name Vincent. Pacino. Yeah, that's Vincent right.
I think that this might be like part of a Tom Cruise kind of meme thing. I think that they made him look like a really powerful character. He looks like a tall guy. He looks like, he's just got better energy as this character than he does in like the Mission Impossible shit.
The hair is awesome too. The hair, the style of the hair, like the suit color as well, which is a gray, like it's just and like everything I feel like he put into it. There's apparently I don't know. I heard this. I don't know if this is true or not. Apparently, like he went method prior to doing this movie, and he was like stalking people apparently to get. No, seriously, he was apparently incorporating this thing into his life where he was trying to like sneak up on people to kind of feel like how it would feel like if you were a hitman stalking your prey. Like he was actually. That's something that I heard. I don't know if that's just an internet rumor, but apparently, like he kind of was trying to go a little bit method to learn how you kind of like stalk down people, like if you were a hitman.
I think that kind of what they did with the look of his character, it feels that he very much, like if I think of like nondescript bad guy and like had to draw that on a piece of paper, like that's what that would look like. It's like he could like as if he could be anyone. He could be anyone walking amongst us, you know?
Yeah, like, that picture even just there with the blood on it in the background there. I mean, it just looks like your natural hitman style thing you would see even in a video game.
Like he could be any random business guy. Like it just
he pulls it off. Like you actually believe he's a hitman in this movie. Like it just even how forcefully he shoots the gun and the double tap thing, how quick he is. When he's running down at the end, like there's that scene where he busts through the glass and he trips over a chair, and you know that's all Tom Cruise. Like he literally is the one just jumping through it. Like he trips. Like there's a scene where he jumps.
You know that's not written in. He definitely just tripped over the chair and they kept the take.
And you get the great Tom Cruise running at the end where he's just literally like he's chasing
fucking Terminator run.
Yeah, it's great. That last 45-minute rips. Like as soon as he hits the nightclub, it's my favorite like sequence of events in the film because I'm just like, oh, buckle in. It's all like action from here on in.
I gotta give my props to the music choices also. That fucking Audio Slave song.
Yes.
And the nightclub song. The nightclub song stuck with me too. I fucking saved them both.
So I will get into that when we talk about scenes because I've written down what these songs are as well, so we can kind of get more into detail with that. Okay, JT, what do you think of this? I think you said this is your second time watching it.
Yeah, probably second time, or it's been, I've also watched it probably throughout the years on TV, just not knowing. But to sit down and to focus on it, I might be going in a different direction. I mean, I know like Tom Cruise doesn't age himself, like in general. Like this guy doesn't look. He looks the same age he did in Risky Business as he did in the new Mission Impossible. You know what I mean? So he's sort of that same style. It is funny how they made him look a little taller. You don't realize it. It's, I guess that's
like in camera angles. They made him look like a really kind of built guy.
I mean, he was also straight, like stood straight and whatever, but it could have been the way he could have been on a booster seat in the cab. Who knows, right? But
I don't know if he's actually short. We should just look it up.
He is.
He is. He's like 5'7" or something like that.
That's how tall I am.
Yeah, but that's not for a grown man. That's not that tall.
What tall are you?
I'm only 5'8" or 5'9". I can't be that much taller. If I stand straight, maybe I might get an extra inch. Right, but I also thought this was a great role for Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
So I mean, for Jamie Foxx, right? I mean, this was just out of the type of sort of, I don't know, comedian style that you knew him off of. And
Jamie Foxx is only 5'9".
Personal, just the style of acting that he did. He had to really dig. You can see he's digging deep. He's doing a different style of acting, and whether he was learning at that time, whether he was already in movies, I'm not 100% sure at like crazy movies at that time or that famous at that time. But it's an all around great movie. It likes to leave you maybe going in circles and thinking about stuff after again. And I mean, I'd recommend it. I mean, I didn't think I would when I was watching it, but then I remembered how intense it was, right? And you got to really focus on the whole storyline. So it was very interesting for me.
I think I also missed the cue on obviously Annie or what's her name is gonna be the last victim. Like I got so involved in the rest of the story that I completely forgot that they had given us this seemingly throwaway character at the beginning.
Right.
that like obviously that's going to be the last hit. I should have figured that out, but then I was like, oh damn, it actually caught me like by surprise.
The first time I watched this, it did the same thing for me as well, actually. Yeah, but actually, Jay, that was a good opportunity to say it.
No, I was wondering, because remember when he pulled down the in the scene there where they're in one part of the scene where he pulled down the thing and he was talking to his boss and this dispatcher, and he looked for the name. Yeah, he looked for a name of somebody he was going to use as a lawyer. He puts
down the visor when he goes to do that. Jay picked up on this. I never picked up on this. Yeah, this is interesting.
He means he's seen her name, which I would say was on the business card. Didn't say anything about it.
Oh,
right.
And then he suggests you should call her.
You know, and then afterwards, later on, they start saying, well, you should call her if we get out of this and whatever, and if we make it out of this and blah blah blah. And
that's a great point.
Sort of like a twist. It was twist around because he didn't use it. Like he's using a guy's name, even though she was clearly a female. When
I never noticed that.
I mean, maybe he obviously knows who his hits are, but
also the connection too.
He had to get him to look it up, so maybe he didn't know that she was the last hit until the end.
Yeah.
No, Jamie Foxx didn't know. Not that.
No. But he lost his iPad with all of his shit on it before they got to see the last two names, maybe, right?
No, you had in one screenshot, you had all four of the name, or you had them all when even Jamie Foxx had seen it.
So there is a possibility that Tom Cruise did know. That's what I never picked up on.
There's plausible deniability there, I think. Yeah.
So Jay mentioned this to me in passing today. And I was just like, I'm like, I never picked up on that. I've seen this movie so many times. That's a good.
Well, the thing too is when she had the picture of the vacation spot too, after it made me kind of think of like, okay, how did he not know? Because he's seen the visor when he brought it down, because that wasn't there because he gave it to her. Right. So it was kind of like,
it's possible.
Kind of circled back around.
It's possible. Weird. Yeah. But Max.
Yeah. No, I love this movie, man. I saw it many years ago, maybe like in high school. And when I saw this movie, I wasn't like, aware of like the director who made it, Michael Mann or whatever. And
me neither. Yeah.
I'd probably seen his movies, but I just never just knew who made these movies, right? Like I'd probably seen Public Enemies or Heat maybe, or no, I saw Ali. I remember seeing Ali on TV. But Collateral, when I saw it, I think what attracted me to watching it was because I saw like an image of it somewhere on the internet with Jamie Foxx driving the cab. And I found out that he got nominated for, I don't think this has ever happened before. He got nominated 2 times at the same Academy Awards ceremony. Once for Best Lead Actor when he played Ray Charles, which he won the award for, and Best Supporting Actor for this movie with Collateral. I've never heard of the same actor getting nominated for 2 different movies in 2 different acting categories. I don't think that's ever happened. It could have been, but I don't know. I to me personally, I think, in my opinion, Jamie Foxx is like the lead character, even though Tom Cruise has like top billing. His name, his face is on the poster, and he's the first character you see in the movie. I've always considered Jamie Foxx the lead character, the main character of the film.
Well, he's the first. Jamie Foxx is the first real one. Well, not really, no.
No, you see Tom Cruise in the beginning of the movie in the airport. They show Tom Cruise first, right? So, but no, like to me, Jamie Foxx is the main character, and you guys have mentioned this already, that both him and Tom Cruise are kind of playing against type.
Yes.
Like Tom Cruise is playing a villain, which at the first time I saw it, I'd never really registered to me that he's never played a villain before. And then Jamie Foxx, who's usually like this very bubbly, extroverted person, is more like kind of reserved, and it's a very good performance, honestly, from Jamie. Like maybe one of his best. I know a lot of people would probably say Ray Charles was his best, but I think this is probably competing for that.
Ray Charles was a lot more and newer. He was a lot more mature of an actor at that point.
Well, it's the same year it came out. This movie came out the same year as Ray. Yeah. Because they were nominated at the same Oscars. I
didn't realize it was that long ago. Maybe like character style.
This is when he's finally starting to get recognition for being a serious actor, even though he had been kind of doing drama roles.
This was his breakthrough, essentially, like not for like people knowing him, but like in terms of
stuff.
Yes, exactly.
It's also his second collaboration with Michael Mann, because he was in Ali. He was Bundini Brown, the guy that was in Ali's Corner and
then
stuff.
he went on to do Miami Vice with him.
Yeah, I think that was the third and last time they worked together.
Miami Vice.
That's a good movie. That's a good one. Yeah, awesome movie. Awesome. I like a lot of what's going on here. I like this sort of balance between kind of like intimate sort of dialogue scenes, and then it kind of you get like the next scenes will be more actiony, and you kind of get the best of both worlds in this type of movie. You get it's just really good. It highlights LA at night too. I feel like this is a movie that has to be watched at nighttime. Like I feel like you can't watch it any other way, because it just gives you that night city
cool,
vibe.
Like that, especially when you see all the bridges. They just keep building bridges on top of bridges, and the maze of bridges you see in freeways. The way it is, it's just so neat.
I love the aerial shots of them in the car, and it shows all the other cars driving around. It's just like a really nice, like, sort of showcase of Los Angeles.
And like always, when I was looking into it a little bit, like Michael Mann incorporates like a variety of different types of cameras when he shot this film, and a lot of them were more based on the efficiency of them filming at night, like you said. Like, well, it's
apparently this is the first like major Hollywood film to be shot mostly on digital. Digital film. Like this is when Hollywood was sort of transitioning into making more digital films, and a lot of filmmakers prefer shooting on film, but Michael Mann is one of the few to make digital look really, really good. Like he shot this on digital. He shot Miami Vice on digital. He really knows how to do it well, and I think some scenes were shot on 35, but
when I looked it up, that's what it said.
Anyways, well, it's called the Viper High Stream camera or something. It's like a digital camera. It was the first
mix of 35mm film cameras, including Ariflex 435, the Panavision, Panaflex, and Panavision Millennium XL for daylight and interior scenes, and for low light and night exterior scenes he used high definition digital cameras. There you go. Yeah. So,
and it's just it's a gorgeous movie. Like it's in the same way. I feel like this and Heat are like the two good like LA movies. Like that Michael Mann. Maybe are those the only ones set in LA that Mann did?
Thief in LA as well.
In Chicago and LA.
Oh,
maybe.
Chicago.
It's
that's
like
a Chicago movie. No, that's a Chicago movie.
They don't go to LA at any point in the movie.
No, I think it's all Chicago. You're right.
So it's just so good. And like I think when we did Manhunter, we kind of got into the whole thing of like his vibe, like his sort of airiness, his dreamlike quality to his movies. I always noticed that in Michael Mann's films, the characters are very like good at their jobs. They're like almost geniuses at what they do. And like Tom Cruise is like the ultimate badass, like the ultimate hitman, but in a weird sort of like he's a genius hitman in a way, right? In a sort of weird way, I don't know, this is kind of weird to say this, but like Jamie Foxx's character is like a genius taxi cab driver, like how he can kind of like get to any point with he knows the exact time to the minute of when he'll arrive at the destination, all the routes and stuff like that. He's very good at his job.
It's also because he's been doing it for 10 years now.
That's true.
12 years,
12 years. But I mean, even then, like to know, like, oh, we'll be there in 7 minutes and type shit. Like,
it's only a part-time job.
Science, kind of like.
Well, that's the thing. He clearly takes pride in being good at what he does, but the whole conversation that he could have moved on and did something else a long time ago that Cruise really pushes. Like it's so true. He just wasn't living up to his potential. He's a procrastinator, and he kind of like was one of these guys that didn't believe in himself to a certain extent. He had a dream that he couldn't actually take the next step to actually go out, and I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to, honestly. Like it's like and likewise with Cruise, he's somebody who is like kind of strict within the confines of what he does as a profession. He said he was been a professional hitman for 6 years outside just like working for himself, essentially. He was saying, like, taking on contracts, right? So, but again, he is very precise and strict about the way that he took care of things, to the point where he goes so far out of his way to like make sure that he takes out his targets that he complicates things for himself and entangles himself in some other man's life, to the point where he won't even let him go. Like, there's that nightclub scene. He could have went off on his own at that point, and not even and turn back and like, but he there's a whole scene where they exchange a look in the nightclub, and he gives him this stern look, like, you're not getting away from me, like, you know what I mean? Like and he's like, why don't you just leave me alone? Like, I will go off on my own. He's like, nope, our lives are interconnected now.
You can't leave anything.
I don't think he can't leave anything up. Can't leave any loose ends. Like, this is my opinion of the movie, and I don't know if I should say this towards the end, but I think he was going to kill Max at the end, regardless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Like, he was never going to let his guy live. So all this bullshit about you should call the girl, and it's all just nonsense. Like,
he's
was
playing mind games to a certain extent.
Well,
but I also feel like he is truthful in the sense that, like, you are with me now. Like, this is not like you're that he like the whole intertwined, like, kind of part, like their lives, eating, all that kind of shit that he said. Yeah.
Darwin.
Honestly, like,
Darwin,
even what he was saying in that moment, he's just like, fuck it, you're with me now. Like, you are gonna be accompanying me throughout this whole thing.
There's no negotiating.
He's like, what is it called? Like a nihilist. Like, all these people who think, there's no meaning to none of this shit, so I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do, type of thing. And so it's like a very you're right. It's a very, like, philosophical movie in that regard. It
absolutely is. That's what I love about it.
And that's really what happened. Like, that really shines when they're in the cab and they're just talking to one, which I think is actually my favorite scenes in the movie. When they're in the cab and they're just doing the back and forth, like the dialogue back and forth, and Tom Cruise is sort of like imposing his views on Max, Jamie Foxx's character, and Jamie Foxx is not really. I don't think Jamie Foxx really has. He doesn't really buy his nonsense because he lives in the real world. He knows what life is, but he's not. He doesn't really have his own kind of POV. He's kind of just listening to this guy, kind of doing whatever he's doing. And in my opinion, I think what happens is I think Tom Cruise really likes Jamie Foxx's character, and he doesn't like what he does as a profession. I don't think he enjoys killing people. So he has to kind of, like, convince himself that none of this matters to kind of justify his own actions and his whole, like, because he knows he's going to probably have to kill Max. He's going to have to kill Jamie Foxx. He's going to, it's heavy, right? And so he has to say all this, it doesn't matter, and ever heard of Rwanda and all this other bullshit that he pulls out of his ass to,
you know what, knowing Michael Mann and in the research that he put into the characters that he had even in Heat, I'm sure that he had a whole pamphlet of, like, history of these people and who they are. Apparently he's one of these guys, at least in his process for Heat, that kind of did something like that, where he gave them, like, a whole backstory. And, like, well, I know that it's also based on a book, but, like, as well, right? Like, they did a book, the second a book that continued the story of Heat, right? But like, there's all this stuff that he puts into his characters that I'm sure went into, like, the development of these people too, knowing Michael Mann and how he kind of goes about things. I would not be surprised if that were the case, because
that's true. I'm reading in the trivia stuff right now.
Okay, I didn't delve too much into the trivia for this one, but yeah, okay, that's good to know, because he's that type of guy. He's done that many times in his other films, right? So, yeah, it's just like, and I know that, like, Tom Cruise, like, at this point in his career, he's, like, kind of on, like, a whole path of, like, working with all, like, the best directors. Like, this is during a period before he started just working with, like, the same directors for the films and deciding the films that he kind of wanted to do. He kind of fell into the whole Mission Impossible thing, and he kind of revisited some of his older successful movies as well, when he did the new Top Gun and this kind of stuff. But, like, this is a period where, like, he's, like, working with all these great directors. He's working with the Spielbergs. He's working, you know what I mean? He's working with what's his name, who died, that we just talked about his film most recently. Well, I know he worked with De Palma. De Palma, he worked on the first Mission Impossible. He did the first one. Like, he's just he worked, obviously, earlier in his career. He worked with Scorsese. He worked with Oliver Stone. Like, he's just working with all the best directors out there, right? And throughout his career. So I'm glad that he got to work with Michael Mann in this film, because, like, this is just one of my favorite performances by him, honestly. Yeah, just very interesting. And like you said, I know that you guys both made good points about Jamie Foxx being really good in this movie too. I agree. It's just, this is when I really just started to come around when Cruise. So this is definitely why I made such a big
it's a good showcase of his acting ability. I feel like, I think people take granted for Cruise because of all these blockbuster movies he's in, but no, Tom Cruise is a serious actor, and I think this really shines in Collateral when he's really committed. Like you believe him as this role. So.
PTA, Stanley Kubrick, like these are all like people he was working with like previous to this, right around this time. So
I'm trying to figure out which director that died that you're thinking of.
Kubrick is
Kubrick.
Oh, okay.
Kubrick. Sorry, I had to look it up quick because I forgot his name. So,
I was like, who did we talk about? Oh, yeah, it was
worked with PTA, Magnolia. So like again, this is just a time that he's working and going out of his way to work with all these interesting directors. Roles, it seems like that would kind of put him out of his comfort zone. Like all three of those movies honestly are roles that I don't expect to see Tom Cruise in ever again. I hope he gets to a point like that again now that kind of like it's cooling off with the Mission Impossible thing. But like look at that, Eyes Wide Shut, a role I'd never thought I'd see Cruise in, and his character in Magnolia is one of the best I think roles that he's been in a film, honestly.
What about Ben Stiller, bro, with Tropic Thunder, and he plays
that
exactly. Like I was like, could you ever see
comedy.
Tom Cruise?
No.
And the thing is, Tom is like, I gotta give it up to Tom Cruise.
He's got range. I never thought of him in that sense.
No, he definitely does. But I gotta give it up to Tom Cruise. He doesn't have the ego of I'm the biggest movie star, I have to play the lead. He just plays like these random side characters in some of these movies, and it's effing hilarious.
And he genuinely does seem to love movies and love movie making and love being a big star. And there's just not very many movie stars really left at that same caliber, right? We got like the Brad Pitts, and I guess he got like the Leos, but like he's definitely still one of them. Like he, like when his
I think he's better than all of them.
Like when his movies come out,
doesn't jump out of all to do all the stunts.
I've always said like
this man is committed to killing himself for our entertainment. At this point.
Like when it came to,
if there is anybody out there.
When it came to like, and I've been telling like people this for years, when it came to like the top three kind of like the bosses of Hollywood, like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Leonardo DiCaprio, my favorite has always been Tom Cruise. Like of all those guys, Tom Cruise is at the top for me. Like I think he's
I think I like both the others better than him, but Cruise is in the conversation for sure.
He kills them to me, bro. And like he's actually of those three guys, he can do comedy probably the best too, you know. So
out of DiCaprio
and
Brad Pitt's pretty good too, though.
Yeah, straight up. I was gonna say, if anybody, Brad Pitt.
Yeah. He's there's comedic stuff in Bullet Train, Burn After Reading.
Yeah, if there's anything Brad Pitt has, I think on all three of them.
The stoner on the couch in True Romance. I mean, he's done some comedic stuff, Brad Pitt. Yeah, so he's got comedic chops. But Brad Pitt, this is the thing with Brad Pitt though. He's so good at just playing himself. The Ocean's movie, he does funny stuff.
He's just eating, bro. He's just eating nachos.
He's fantastic looking cool at that.
Well, Nico when he eats his sausage once in a while on the show.
Effortless,
pepperoni stick.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, shout out to Cruise for sure. Like there is definitely, like I said, I've really come around these last few years. I've really come around on him. Where a period I definitely was down on him as an actor and as a human being.
Well,
now
that's kind of that's kind of the thing with Tom Cruise. It's like I noticed often is people will bring him up, and then undoubtedly people will bring up like all the Scientology shit like 10 seconds later.
There's a lot of odd stuff about him.
There is some odd stuff after that.
You almost cannot, like, I feel like it's been done so many times that even I started.
What was his wife's name at that time?
Katie Holmes.
Yeah, that was a crazy time for him.
Well, that's the thing.
Jumping on Oprah's couch.
Nicole Kidman, coming from Nicole Kidman.
People were like, this guy's crazy.
That was the turn. There's the pre-jumping on the couch, and then there's the post.
I never understood why that, but you know what? I feel like an alien sometimes because I never felt like, why was that the reason?
It was just
jumping
behavior.
on a couch.
It was just odd behavior. I'm in love.
yeah, like he's 20 again. Yeah.
But like he's like eating.
Like he's in risky business.
Like, come on, that was fun though. He's just like
people are just like going after him. But you know what's so funny though is that for me, like, and I always was just like, that's kind of weird. Like, why do people always bring that up about Tom Cruise? But now I kind of get it because watching Collateral and seeing Jada Pinkett Smith, it's impossible for me to like disassociate her from like all the shit she's been doing.
Me and Jay were talking about this earlier. I'm like, Jay was like, wow. It's like, I love her.
I forgot how good she looked.
Really good at this. Yeah.
She became a bitch.
Yeah, she's the iceberg.
Well, yeah, I just feel like we associate her with so much negative shit about Will Smith now. It's hard for us to look back and be like, oh yeah, she's in this. She was great in this. Like she was, you know what I mean? Like
she's just fresh off banging Tupac around that time.
This is way after Tupac. He was in the grave at this point. What are you talking about? Fresh off?
Straight up to the grave, bro.
Oh my god.
Anyways, so yeah, okay. Well, I'm glad we all enjoyed it. Then it sounds like for the most part, and I'm really happy about that. I mean, I had no doubt in my mind that Max was going to enjoy it because I know how Max feels about the Michael Mann in this movie, but I wasn't sure about the other two of you guys. So I'm glad to hear everyone quite.
You know what? I think this is his most accessible movie of his entire career.
I would agree.
Collateral,
with that. Yeah,
100%. Like, I think this is the movie you show to people if you're trying to get them into Mann.
I was gonna say, like, and we also dislikes. I don't really have too many dislikes about this movie because, like, I feel like there's not a lot of fat on this. Like, it's very
lean.
Yeah, it's a very lean film. It gets to the point. Even the scenes where I guess maybe some of the story beats you could dislike. Some of the, like, I don't know. I always felt like the jazz scene was off about that scene to me for a while, but I quite like that scene as well. Even in comparison, it was just the way that
he lied.
No, it's because, like, the whole thing about him getting the answer right, sorta, that always bothered me. That, but
he's gonna kill that guy regardless.
But that's the point of that scene, exactly. But I remember the first time I watched that, I was like, "What the hell?" I'm like, the guy kind of got it right. He didn't even give him an opportunity to say the rest of the answer if he really wanted more context.
Do you think he was gonna let him go?
That's the point. But that's the point. He wasn't. That's what he said.
And I think this is when Jamie Foxx realizes that he's not gonna let him go at the end.
Yeah,
but that's what I was getting to. I that bothered me the first couple times I watched that scene. Now I understand.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're talking about.
He's got a job that he's contracted to do. Right?
Yeah.
Because Jamie Foxx realizes, that he has to, like, straight up stand up for himself. He's not getting out of this one unless he outspreads the killer.
You know what's funny too? There's a scene when Mark Ruffalo's talking to his partner, and he mentions, like, a story that happened in, like, San Francisco or Oakland or some shit, where a taxi cab driver was driving around and he was killing people, and then he shot himself or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, the detective always wondered was someone else in that cab that night or whatever." So I'm thinking to myself, is that, like, sort of like a wink that?
Yeah.
No, I was like, is that sort of like a wink that like Tom Cruise has done this, like, this is what he does, like, this is his kind of routine as a hitman to use a taxi cab driver. I don't know if it's, like, really efficient. I feel like you get caught very easily doing that.
Well, he has said he's come to LA before for business. He does mention that in this movie. He hates it. He mentions that. He said, I hate LA. I can't wait to leave every time I'm here. So maybe that is the case. Right? So, I mean, it's possible.
But what bigger of a city to hide in? That's the thing, right? Make it easy, right? Nowadays, you're never going to get in a taxi. You're getting video cameraed on the way in, on the way out. They know everything about you, right?
So, I mean, if we're going to talk about dislikes, I guess it's like Mark Ruffalo's whole look in this movie.
Really? You guys didn't like this?
I mean, his part wasn't like
it looked really cool, honestly.
I like Mark Ruffalo in this movie.
Mark Ruffalo in years past has kind of come across kind of like a nerdy guy, kind of.
Yeah.
He kind of gives me that vibe, like he's a little nerdy.
The whole look, though, like the slick hair with the earring, with the facial hair,
but also the music that plays when he gets introduced in the car and shit. Like it's like a whole vibe.
Let's be honest. One of the worst looks that Javier Bardem has ever rocked. That shaved head look with the beard does not look good on him either, in my opinion. I was like, the first time I remember revisiting this, I'm like, is that Javier Bardem? Because it looks nothing like him in any of his other films. But that was, I guess, man purposely was going for these looks for all of these.
This is also before Javier was, like, big, known to people that, right?
He looks odd too.
Mark Ruffalo too, maybe.
They both look like there's some interesting choices for the looks in this film. That's all.
Mark Ruffalo looked like an Italian, an Italian in the '80s with that hair been back. I know a chef right now that looks like that.
Yeah.
Seriously, with those hoop earrings too, it's just killing me on one side.
But he's got both, yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
You want to hear?
I'm leaving it at that.
Like, you're bringing up Mark Ruffalo and, like, the inauthenticity or whatever. Him and Jamie Foxx's Spanish sounds awful. Maybe Jamie's in this movie. Jamie's movie.
Ramon.
Yeah, Ramon. That's a cabron or whatever the fuck. And then Jamie Foxx is speaking Spanish in the beginning of the movie when he's, like, at the gas station or whatever. It's so bad. Like, the accent is so off.
So, so any dislikes for you guys though? I really don't seriously have like any serious ones.
I think the only dislike I'll have is just like the implausibility of the plot. It just doesn't seem.
It's a little ridiculous.
It is that's really it though. Like
I will say the point upon this rewatch where I thought it was like a little bit unbelievable. You make a good point. Is when he's like on the building watching her in the building. Like that was like, come on now. Like that's like he's seeing him like he's trying to like warn her where to run to. Well, she's like that whole part about him actually making it there to save her at the end is kind of
even
like
the part even the part
I love it, but I just think it's crazy.
Even the part when he gets pulled over by the cops and he says, listen, if they open up the trunk, they're going in it or whatever. I don't have enough trunk space or
I don't have enough trunk space in here.
He's basically gonna kill those two cops if he had to. And I'm thinking like, bro, you're in a crowded street in LA, there's a billion witnesses, like you're done. Like if that's what I'm saying. Like the whole thing is sort of like.
I also heard people comment on the traffic would never be like this in LA at night. Like
it's very traffic. It's very jammed, right? Like LA is very busy.
The fact that they're able to just cruise throughout the city, no issues all night again is also.
He knows all the back roads, bro. Come on, man. He's a taxi man.
Things like that. I agree.
Like then another cop car would have undoubtedly stopped them. I mean, there's like this movie you could really nitpick apart, and as far as that aspect of it is.
But not to the point where it's like a it's not like I'm like groaning at it. You know
no. But like if you think about it like on a realistic scale, like there's like a zillion shit you can pull from it, and that's like the only thing. But other than that, no.
Yeah.
Like as a film, it works.
It's a bit far fetched at times, for sure. Yeah. So, Julie, any dislikes? JT? No.
Just I was bothered by Mark Ruffalo's earring. There's one like continuity error, but like this is a tight 2 hours. There was no point in which I was like. I don't know. I didn't have any problems with the plausibility of like the traffic stuff, whatever. It was captivating enough that I wasn't nitpicking too much. The only I noticed the there was some part where they were shooting through the windshield of the cab where the windshields have been broken all night, but the cracks were gone. But that's really nitpicking. Like. Really?
I think that's maybe you just couldn't see it. Like that's fine detail at night. Like it's really hard to, I guess, record.
It's really nitpicking, but I didn't have any.
I think there'd be more damage to the car when some fucking guy falls on it like that, not just I think the door frame would be bent. I mean, I'm pretty sure it would have
He just uses like half a bottle of water to just wash it.
Seriously? Yeah, there was a little things that were like.
Did anybody else think that he was about to set the car on fire? Like that he was? I thought he was pouring gas on the top.
First. Maybe, and that's what I thought too. But then you see the bottle clearly of water, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is just an Aquafina bottle. But I thought he was like he just came like prepped with fucking. He had some flammable thing in a bottle. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and then he says he hit a deer. He's like,
I hit a deer, South Central deer.
Yeah, but then he was like, oh, I hit a deer, and they were like, okay. But then there was a coyote.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So whatever.
Jay, any dislikes?
No. It was good. To be honest with you, there could have been. I don't know. I didn't even think Mark Ruffalo needed to be in this movie. I don't, in that sense, because he really didn't save him at the end. I like him. I really do.
No, I think
really
he was wasted, is what he means.
Oh,
I think
it was a wasted part for him.
In this, he's like, there's a lot of star power in this movie. Absolutely,
there is.
Was he a star in 04 like that, or
he was coming up for sure?
Yeah, not like he is now, obviously.
No, I mean, I like him as
I didn't think he was going to die at the end.
The Hulk and the scientist.
That was something you didn't see coming. Like you didn't think this character is going to get shot at the end.
But again, just adds to the way he thinks, where he's like, you didn't have to kill him. He's like, well, what does it matter to you? Like,
but it's going through like 3 different police forces, right? Like, I mean, and really, it's kind of it does stem back from that was his first. What do you call it? So he does have a character in this, in the sense that that was his. What do they call it? CI. Or is informant there?
Yeah, but that's why it was so disappointing about it when he gets killed, because he's the only one that figured out what was going on out of everybody in the movie. He was like the one guy that was on his side.
He wasn't, Vincent.
And then he gets taken out just like nothing, right? And then obviously that kind of leads us to the crazy end of the film after that. But that was a shocking moment.
And I think he got killed because he looked like one of those Mexican dudes that was rolling with Javier.
Felix's guys.
Yeah, Felix's guys. He looks like he's dressed and looks like that, so he doesn't look like a cop.
Okay,
no, he was playing like probably undercover DA or some shit like that.
Yeah,
right.
narcotics.
So I guess with that, we'll get into favorite scenes and quotes, and I'll start us off here. I got a couple of like little like monologue parts here, or just exchanges between Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise that really kind of set the tone, I think, for the film, for like some of the themes that we explore throughout. But it's the first time where he picks up Tom Cruise in the cab, and he almost doesn't pick up Tom Cruise in the cab. There's a moment where he could have walked right by and out of his life, but he's like, yeah, no, come on. He ushers him into his cab. I know, it's so close. And he's talking with them. He's like, first time in LA? And he's like, no, to tell you the truth, whenever I'm here, I can't wait to leave. It's too sprawled out, disconnected. You know, that's me. You like it? He's like, it's my home. And he's like, 17 million people. This was a country. It'd be the 5th biggest economy in the world, and nobody knows each other. I read about this guy, gets on the MTA here, dies. 6 hours, he's riding the subway before anybody notices his corpse doing laps around LA. People on and off sitting next to him, nobody notices, which is obviously foreshadowing, jumping to the end.
Crazy, that's how he dies,
where he says that to him. And we were having this conversation in the chat too, me and Max, about the ending of Heat, kind of almost being similar in the sense where the two people that are on the collision course and getting in each other's heads and stuff like that, the whole film, that one being Pacino and De Niro, he's there with him when he dies at the end of that film too. In the same way, kind of Tom Cruise, when he accepts his death at the end of the movie, he sits down after he gets shot and he's kind of just bleeding out. And he says that same line about guy, dies. And he's like, hey, Max, a guy gets on the MTA here in LA and dies. Think anybody will notice? And then his head just kind of falls down. And then they get off the subway and the train just keeps going and there's no one sitting beside him or acknowledging him. And it's just like, it's kind of a chilling friggin' end of the movie. And then it just ends there. You see Jamie Foxx grabbing Jada Pinkett Smith and walking her away, and then it just ends the film. There's like this eerie kind of music going on, and it just ends. Like, I'm just like, wow, what a chilling ending. That I remember the first time I seen this ending of this movie, the first time I watched this, I only watched like the second half, like I said, the Fever nightclub scene on, which again coincidentally is like my favorite period of the film. It's just like, that was such a crazy ending to me the first time I watched this. It really stuck with me. And then, of course, you got the other part here, which I really like, where this is after they visit his mother, Max's mother, in the hospital. And he's kind of all messed up by it because you can tell that it's kind of like a strained relationship between him and his mother a little bit, right? That he has some issues with himself, and the fact that he starts getting in his head about how she thinks that he's actually doing his dream job by doing the limo service and all this kind of stuff, right? And then he's like, they project onto their flaws, what they don't like about themselves, their lives, whatever. They rank on you instead. And this is in response to Max saying that his mom believes what she wants to hear. Nothing is ever good enough for her. And he's like, how do you know? He's like, I had a father like that. Mothers are worse. Wouldn't know my mother died before I remembered her. He's like, what happened to your father? Hated everything I did. Got drunk, beat me up, foster homes. Went back with him like that. He's like, then what? He's like, I killed him. And then there's like a long silence. And he laughs. He's like, I was 12. And he laughs. He's like, I'm kidding. And then he ends with this great line where he's like, he died of liver disease. And you can just tell, like, he's just
satisfied.
And he's like, well, I'm sorry. Jamie Foxx says to him, like, in all honesty, he says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that kind of thing. He's like, no, you're not. Like, why? It's just something that people say, and he looks right through him, and he's like, you don't care about me or my life or like my misery. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a great, you don't really get to see any real stuff about Vincent's character in this film. That's one of the few moments where he kind of does tell him something honest about himself, and he says something in response to him, and he's like, let's be honest, like, you don't care. Like, you don't know.
It makes him vulnerable. It shows a little bit of vulnerability in Vincent's character, too, right?
I just love that exchange, because he's like, this is the story you think you know about me, what a person like me who does what I do, you would think about me, that I had an abusive childhood, blah, 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 this and that. That's why he laughs. He's like, nah, that's what you think about somebody like me, right? And he's like, no, my father, he just died of liver, like something normal, right? He's like, he sounded like he had, like,
himself to death.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just like, yeah, no, you don't care. You don't care about me. Like, you know what I mean? Or my father. I really like that. I thought that was a really great line reading as well from Cruise in that scene. How about you guys? Anybody else want to just share some
scenes or quotes or
both?
either.
Yeah.
I really like the scene when he picks up Jada in the car and that little sort of exchange they have and soul music that starts playing, and it's a really beautiful scene. And then they show the night. I don't know how long the taxi cab ride was, but like when he picks her up, it's still kind of daylight, and then it just shows it's like dark as hell. It's just like it just went dark all of a sudden. And no, it's just a great scene at night, and they show the back of the car, they show the back of the taxi with the skyline in the background and stuff, and just the little flirting that they're doing, and the little Max is like playing his little game, like he's laying his Mac down, like see smooth with it, man,
he's
like
laying his Max down.
Yeah, Max is laying his Max down.
He's got the music playing. She can turn that up. That whole
yeah. He's like, I figure if what does he say? If a man comes in with a sword, he's a sushi chef or whatever. Like, just a little flirting that they're doing, and then he gets his little card at the end. No, I like that. It's like it's so good because that moment is like he probably felt like $1 million, and then
followed by
like the shit show that follows after. So it's a great. And you know what? I love. He's one of my favorite actually filmmakers when he comes to like romance in his films. Michael Mann, no, seriously, because like, and even in Heat, when he meets the girl.
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of the. What do you care about what I do? And what...
I love that scene. That's what I was just about to bring up when he meets her at the bookstore. It's such a nice like.
De Niro and Heat. De Niro doesn't really have a lot of. I feel like
good romantic partners, but that one is probably the best. That is probably the best he's ever had. Like
honestly, as toxic as it is, Casino is also fascinating.
It is. That's a good pick.
That's actually the best like real bad relationship kind of depiction of his, honestly. But I know what you're saying.
No, I like the scenes in Heat when he's like, like because how he has that whole not to go off on Heat, but like because you brought it up. But when he says, leave the corner if you see the heat, and he has this philosophy. And at the end of the film, he's like, listen, if you don't come with me, I'm not going anywhere kind of thing. He kind of like opens up to her. So I've always just liked the romantic, like sort of aspect of Michael Mann's films. I think he does it really well. And it's never like corny or cheap. It like feels real to like just really beautiful. So
what I like about the men specifically in his films, though, their mission statement cannot be interrupted by any 100%. Outside. Like it's. In this film, like
that's Vincent in this film,
yes,
right? Yeah,
yes. But in Heat, same thing.
Yeah.
Like he did leave her, like essentially, right? Like
he did. Yeah.
That's the discipline, right? That's what he says in that film.
That's
in
the
Thief,
discipline.
it's the same thing. In a lot of his movies, the men in his films, they have a very like, it's all about
code, man.
Yeah, it's
all
about
normal
like,
life. What is that? Baseball and fucking barbecues or whatever.
Right. Pacino, same thing in that movie. Yeah, they all have like a like strict kind of like
code.
Code to like their ethics and the way they live life and how to get from point A to point B. Like nothing else will kind of. Yeah, that is something that's definitely prevalent in a lot of his movies. Honestly, yeah, even in Ferrari, like look out, even it's something like Ferrari, totally. Right? Like how determined.
Public Enemies,
Ali,
all that shit.
But yeah, no, good pick though. That on that scene, I like that one a lot too. Jay or Julie, scenes.
I like the first interaction with Tom Cruise. Sorry, not the first. The first interaction is great. Like I mean, just to get the whole, trying to figure out what kind of character he's going to play and everything, but and it leads into that when they make that first stop and he gets a little bit what's the word I was saying, Jamie Foxx is getting a little bit nervous now after the death and all this stuff after the first killing there, and he they said that whole thing about the 1 billion, how many people in the world, nobody cares about it. Like he is not wrong when he said that whole line, that whole dialogue there.
Yeah,
he wasn't wrong by saying that. Like nobody joins up, they see all this shit. How many people out there really join up or do something for it was such a great line in the delivery to make him realize. Like I think the quote in one of it was, part of it was no, I don't kill people I know. Do you kill people you know?
Yeah.
Like, when Tom Cruise says that, it goes, it's just the way it is. That's when you find it figured out. He's got like no remorse to it.
Tom Cruise is
separate
also
himself.
a realist. Like what? That's why he's like, you actually believe that I'm out here killing people that deserve it, right? Like that, the whole thing where he says like, oh yeah, no, these are all bad people that I'm killing. He's like, what the hell do you care? Like, right? Like,
yeah. You're getting mad over one fat guy in the trunk.
That's right. Yeah. That's the whole thing about the Rwanda thing that he talks about.
Yeah, and went off with the whole Rwanda,
this whole genocide of people or whatever. He's like, do you care? Like, do you care about those people? He's like,
you sign up for Greenpeace. You're gonna,
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, that shit kind of rings kind of hollow. Like, I feel like he's trying to like talk about this whole like universe shit, and it's just like, bro, like he doesn't understand that an average person doesn't see death every day, so of course he's gonna get triggered.
This
by
is
that.
Why they clash,
but he does.
though.
Yeah, that's why they clash. He's unable to sort of like he's approaching it from a very nihilist sort of view, and he doesn't understand the human aspect of like where Jamie's coming from.
Which he says to him.
He says you're not right.
Right. And
Jamie doesn't understand the same aspect in his way, so I can see where through the movie he's trying to figure it out.
And that's when he starts to call him out on his bullshit. Like towards the end of the film, when he
balls start to drop,
when he revisits that line about like we were talking about even earlier about how their lives are intertwined. He's like, "You're so full of shit." He's like, "This is you're full of shit." Like right now, like this whole
like,
don't give me this whole thing. And you know the whole point leading up to where he really flips the car over there at the end, right? Like towards the end of the film, where he kind of has enough of them at that point. Yeah, because he's like, it just took me this long to realize, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff about himself. And here's the thing. Cruise actually pushed him to a good place, though. Like it
made him take action. Yeah.
It really did. That is the messed up thing about the ending. I mean, this might be a hot take for later, really, but he improved this man by the end of this film. That's all I'm gonna say. He improved. This experience made him grow as an individual. No, it's true. It made him grow as an individual, this whole experience in a very bad way.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of trauma that followed this experience.
Well,
but he learned something about himself through all this. Like that's the whole thing about like the journey that these two took, right? Like he became like stronger, I felt like, by the end of this movie as an individual. Like I don't know, it's interesting in that aspect. I like it. Like I like how he pushed it.
I think they both learned a lot from each other in different aspects, you know, regardless if Tom Cruise didn't get to use it at the end. You know, he got but you know, it was something that, you know, even when they took him to see his mother, and he's like, you're gonna get her flowers, and he's like, it's not gonna make a difference. He goes,
she carried her in
9 months in her room.
Yeah.
Like, flowers.
It's like, you waste your money on these flowers. He's like,
but she brushes it off like, yeah, you wasted it. He bought it. Oh, hi, how are you?
I love that. Yeah. And he like looks over at him. He's like, yeah, you see. Julie, what any favorite scenes or quotes?
I think a lot of it's already been mentioned, but like my top scene is the Fever nightclub.
Yes.
All those double taps, like that is the scene.
How about the thing coming up from behind, cracking that guy's neck, and then stomping on him, walking away all in one motion, and everyone's still dancing?
Yeah. That seems so chaotic, but it's so well edited.
Movies, you notice, like in nightclub scenes when the action shit is happening,
Bad Boys.
Nobody is reacting to the shit around, or only the people immediately. But it doesn't break up the party.
Speaking of Michael Bay,
or John Wick, John Wick 2, when he's like killing people.
I love a good nightclub action scene.
Yeah, it's a dope spot.
He did a great, but this is cool because he did like the Korean gangster remix of this song. That's like the beat and the fucking action, it just goes hand in hand.
So cohesive. That song sticks for me so well.
It's called Ready Steady Go by Paul Oakenfeld, and this is a remix version with Korean lyrics and vocals, apparently, because they are Korean gangsters in this nightclub scene, right? Which is again something that Michael Mann, I think, through some of like Miami Vice and stuff, like there's a lot of like Korean underworld type stuff that he's done, right, in his films. So Yeah, that was good. No, I agree with you, Julie. That's why I love that scene. Also like the scene right before it, which is the first time they play the Audio Slave song, which is them in the car.
And they see the coyote.
And that's when they're silent on the way to this next hit because he just got this information to go to the nightclub.
Yeah.
And that Audio Slave song with them just sitting there silence in the car ride over, and they're both kind of looking at each other. The lyrics are kind of matching up with what's happening in the actual scene as well. Shadow
of the Sun.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the name of the song. Chris Cornell, of course, singing that, which I didn't know that Audio Slave was made up of him from Soundgarden as well as Rage Against the Machine members. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. Use a lot of Audio Slave comes in Miami Vice too. Like that same music, and the different songs, but the same band.
But he's using the lyrics to match up in the movie where he's like, "I can read your thoughts," and like you in the song he says that, and they're like looking at each other in the fucking rear view and stuff. Like that. And Tom Cruise is like looking up at him. And he says, like, and never say a word is one of the lyrics to the song as well. Like, he just matched up the song. Like, man doesn't always get it right with some of the music, but he does a lot of the time.
I don't think that scene was actually planned. I don't think they planned to have, like, wolves, like, running free. I think that just happened and they were filming it.
The actual music video, too, is for this film. Like, this is back when they used to...
I think the coyote thing is intentional, though. It's like, apparently it's a Navajo thing. Like, if a coyote crosses your path, you're supposed to turn back because something bad will happen. And...
Okay.
I mean, the whole movie
trying to figure out what that analogy was.
I always looked at the coyote as sort of like a physical representation of the Tom Cruise character, like a lone wolf. They're both silver-haired, white-haired, whatever. He's dressed in white.
Well, that's what I thought. The more of a lone wolf thing.
Like, lone wolf. He's out on the hunt. He's on the prowl, and he's the one that looks intensely at the wolf. And Jamie notices.
This is maybe when Jamie Foxx realizes, and another part too, that he's got to have to defend himself at one point because it is eat or die, right, between them two right there. Eat or be eaten first, right? So yeah, especially with coyotes too, right?
Yeah.
So they'll scrap each other out to the death.
I talked about it earlier, but also like the Vincent part there with the Terminator, like kind of thing with him running out on the subway,
jumping on the train and shit.
Him scooting out all the glass in the building and then jumping over the chair, following them onto the train. All the stuff on the train, like even the moment where Jamie Foxx shoots and the lights go out and he ends up shooting him and he's kind of still like loading up his gun and getting ready to kill him. He's like, Max, I do this for a living. Like,
but the best part was
I'm contracted to do. Right?
He still, he caught up pretty good, but he still didn't catch up to Jamie Foxx. Still had the easier strides, man.
You notice Jamie,
like, it looks like Tom Cruise was going wow like a million times. I don't know if they sped the camera up.
Yeah, I found it in that bridge scene, like Tom Cruise is really gunning it, and Jamie Foxx is running like a goose.
It's like cruising, yeah.
He's kind of like this. He's just like
he's got like a really wonky run, like it's kind of disorganized. And Tom Cruise is like,
that's the Tom Cruise signature run. Yeah, that's Mission Impossible Tom Cruise right there.
Getting ready to jump off a fucking cliff.
Apparently this is random, but what you were saying earlier about Tom Cruise doing his method acting thing and stalking people, you were close. It was to prepare, he was a FedEx delivery guy and he had to make these deliveries in LA without anyone recognizing him as Tom Cruise.
I knew he did something weird like that though to prepare for this.
I wonder how that translates into playing a hitman though. Like how does that correlate?
Just like trying to blend in and to not be recognized.
To be covert.
Out of
to be covert. Yeah, that's interesting.
See, Tom's the man.
Tom is the man.
Maybe they shot at the real nightclub. Maybe that nightclub didn't know to the end that the fucking the kicking and stuff happened.
There's a lot of interesting shit, like trivia about the movie. Apparently that parking garage rooftop belongs to the Secret Service. Like, for real. And they had to really do a lot to convince them to let them use it for shooting.
The one that Jamie Foxx is talking to her on the phone on? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I know a piece of trivia. They were gonna have Russell Crowe originally play Vincent, the Tom Cruise character, and Adam Sandler was going to play Max. Could you imagine that?
Edward Norton was also offered both lead roles.
I'm glad he isn't in this.
I'm glad he wasn't in it too. It doesn't fit.
I can see Ed Norton playing a killer.
That would be weird. No, that's
like,
curb kicker.
Bro, Edward Norton and Michael Mann would not work well together. He'd be like, "Listen, Michael, I'm taking over the movie."
You know what? That has been the case with Ed Norton, but I think when it comes to like a director he respects, he'll chill the fuck out. Like he won't do that for David Fincher. He won't do that for Spike Lee.
He's never worked with Michael Mann though, has he?
Edward Norton? No. I don't think so. No. But he didn't do that with David Fincher, and he didn't do that with Spike Lee. So I think Michael Mann would tell him to go fuck himself. Like, chill, bro. Like, I know what I'm doing.
No, he didn't do that with Fincher at all in Fight Club.
Fight Club? No, how could you, dude? David Fincher,
the biggest,
David Fincher will kick you in the nuts, bro. You don't tell. You don't fuck with him, bro.
Perfectionist ever. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he
made him do like
90,000 takes.
90 takes just to open a fucking beer bottle, probably. Like,
I don't know how we haven't said this prior to now, but the best quote of the film is "Yo, homie, is that?"
I was waiting for you to say that. I thought you were gonna open that one up with that. I wanted you to do that.
Yo, homie, is that my briefcase? And that whole scene is fantastic.
He goes, "Yo, homie," and then he pauses. Is that my briefcase?
And he shoots them. That's when you see the double tap for the first time. He just shoots them twice and then another one in the head. Yeah, so sick. Like that whole part where he gets
like that gun couldn't make that much more noise, bro. Like really.
But what the other thing I read is that Tom Cruise, his tactical reload or his draw or something is so good that they use it in like for LA Cops training videos.
So the same thing with Heat. That whole Heat scene in the movie Heat that they do. I don't know if have you seen Heat before, Julie?
No.
There's a whole shootout scene that the same thing I heard about it. The way that Val Kilmer was reloading and doing all this kind of stuff. They also but again, Michael Mann, he will go and talk to people that were ex-prisoners in jail. He will go and talk to tactical teams and figure out this kind of stuff. This guy is another one of these guys that like really cares about the authenticity of his characters and their backstories, right? So, and it really shows. And like even in simplistic kind of plots of films like this, it means something. Like it really shows. Like that's interesting that that's the case with. That makes sense. Tom Cruise looks sick in this movie when he's doing that. Like I'm just like, wow, this is the craziest. Like, you know, you see some of that now, obviously, in like John Wick and stuff like that. But this is after years of probably like, you know, people, you know, actually that care about that kind of stuff in movies. Like,
I guess he trained for it with cops too. And this was apparently his first movie where he was using live rounds.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Which I'm like, I can't figure why they would do that though.
Well, they wouldn't now because of everything that happened.
Not now, but like, why would they do that instead of dummy rounds? I don't understand. Probably makes for good tension on set for the role that he's playing, right?
Yeah, makes for a louder noise, probably.
That too.
Right?
I also like the quote: "We got to make the best of it, improvise, adapt to the environment." Darwin, shit happens. I Ching, whatever, man. We got to roll with it.
Then he uses it in the end. Right? That's when Jamie Foxx uses it in the club too. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a good scene.
Yeah, he just totally, you know, his balls are tucked right up into his stomach.
What about
this scene? Shitless, and he says, "You better, you know, get this guy from behind me." He just like takes his like inner Vincent out there and fucking just channels it somehow. And
it takes the glasses off.
About the stupid Santa Claus story.
yeah. What was it? Santa Claus, Humpty? You believe in Humpty Dumpty? You believe in Santa Claus? No, but my kids do. I don't, but my kids do.
Peter.
Yeah, Black Peter.
Imagine Black Peter lost Santa Claus's list. He's like, how fucking furious do you think he would be? Like that turn that he does is.
Oh my god! I was like, did they just say what I thought? I thought that's what they were saying, right? It was that was really well done. That's when he got himself. He knew he was in trouble, man. When he's in there,
he screws up at the end though because he starts feeling himself too much. He's like, for all this inconvenience, I'll give you 25% off.
Yeah.
Actually, make it 35. And Javier Bardem,
very generous.
Very generous.
yeah. He's giving him discounts.
And that's when he's like, "This is getting weird," and he's like, "Follow this guy."
Yeah. But hey, who's that actor that he said that to? That Spanish.
Javier
Bardem. Right, with the mustache, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he looks different in this movie though, like than what he normally looks like, right?
Yeah, he looks like a kid.
Because he says to protect your Hermes, what does he say?
Fachanabla ass.
Fachanabla ass.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else unless you guys have anything else here. But that's pretty much covered.
Leo was considered to do the role of Vincent
DiCaprio,
younger, 20 years.
He was too busy shooting The Aviator.
Oh, I'm glad he made that movie.
Which Michael Mann is a producer of, actually, on that movie. And Frank Darabont is a producer on this movie. The director of Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all I have. Yeah.
John Travolta was also considered for Vincent.
Well, they were originally gonna get Fernando Morales to direct this movie, the guy who directed City of God. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's a foreign film,
of course,
in Brazil, but he didn't want to do it because he didn't want to relocate to Los Angeles because he's from Brazil and shit. So he's like, nah, fuck that.
Okay, so unless you guys got anything else, any other trivia there, Julie, that you wanted to throw out there before we move on?
Not really. I'm still learning about it. There's a lot of like stuff about how they made it and stuff, but like you were saying about the shooting it digital, particular choices they made, like were those cab scenes. It was so you would be able to see detail inside the cab as well as what was going on outside the cab. It had something to do with the exposure value. Just kind of nerd shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Hot take. I'll hit you guys with a hot take. I think this is in my top 3 at number 3, my favorite Michael Mann films now. I think it goes Heat, then Manhunter now after a recent rewatch of that film. And this, although I could take this at number 2, honestly, that's how much I like this movie. It's between this and Manhunter, but I'd probably put this at number 3, and it's probably an unpopular opinion that I'm putting these above Thief, but I would probably go top 3 films, Heat, Manhunter, then this. I just like the material better in Manhunter. Like I like the dark kind of serial killer kind of like storyline. Yeah. And I do love the 80s vibes of that film when we talked about it too. Like I
think that's probably why I would say Collateral is like the more accessible movie, because it doesn't get too heavy on that, but it is very good, very accessible.
And it still captures a lot of the Michael Mannisms that he's known for.
Well, besides the direct shooting, you know, it's pretty TV friendly too, in a sense. Right?
Yeah,
it's still rated R.
Yeah, it's rated R, but I mean, language wise, it's not too crazy. It's not crazy graphic. It's just the shooting of the guns like that at close range and stuff like. Like I mean, look at the way he shot Mr. Wannabe Miles Davis over there. He shot him so fast, and he still caught his head.
Yeah.
That was smooth, man. That was just slick. I was like,
you could just use that to describe his character in this film. Period. Is that
just smooth?
That actor is also like a Michael Mann favorite. Yep. He's in a lot of his movies.
Yeah,
he's
a great little cameo guy.
Him in a bunch of stuff.
I don't know.
He's always like a saxophone player or something like that.
Is he an American Gangster?
He's been in some TV stuff that I've seen.
What role
I've seen him in other things though.
He's in a lot of stuff. He was in Ali. He was in Miami Vice. He was the captain.
I
of
haven't
Miami
seen
Vice.
Ali ever.
I think he's in Godfather Harlem.
It's a good one
on television, like you were saying, Julie.
Yeah, he's been in some TV stuff. I feel like he's been in some medical shows or something that I've seen. That
I could see
he's in House or something. I can't place it, but yeah, I know I've seen him in some TV stuff, some guest spots on series things.
He just
I don't know where I would rank this on the Michael Mann thing. Probably closer to the top, but because I like so many of them. But on the way over here, I was reading like the entire Wikipedia page from like front top to bottom. Just wanted to know like a little bit about this movie in case I had to say some stuff. And I went to the critic review section, and I noticed how many critics at the time were kind of not harsh, but they weren't that favorable on the movie. Like some liked it, but then there was a lot of people who said it was like this movie was empty and stuff. And it was very interesting to me about how the tides have kind of changed with Michael Mann in a way where a lot of the movies where people weren't kind of like excited about, even Miami Vice, I don't think had that warm of a reception when it came out. How 10, 20 years later, the tide has turned almost, I think, because maybe generations have changed. I think the people who are kids or like whatever, 17, 18, 20-year-olds who are now like in their 30s and 40s or whatever are now.
How long was he making movies ahead of this? Like long?
He's been making movies since the 80s, and he's been involved in like the 80s.
So I'm like, maybe I was gonna say that maybe like it was before he was really establishing his style, but it had been 20 years at that point.
More his later career stuff, I would say, that never got that warm of a reception. People always loved the stuff from the beginning. Like Heat, I think, has always had that kind of thief, and for sure. But then you notice towards the second half of his career, people were like, "This
hit or miss."
These movies are hit or miss. But now a lot of those misses are turning into hits for people.
Insider is excellent.
Yeah, Insider is amazing.
I mean, that makes sense that Russell Crowe almost was in this because he went on to work with Russell Crowe in The Insider.
Adam Sandler as Max is interesting though.
I would probably say Thief and Insider would be round out my top 5 though.
Yeah, that's a solid top 5.
And then Ferrari probably number 6. But I haven't seen all his films yet, so I mean I'm still working.
But it's just interesting to me, and I think also shout out. I know we kind of like we talk about these guys all the time, but the rewatchables, I think they had a lot to do with this. Like Chris Ryan, Sean Fennessy, Bill Simmons, of like turning the tide on how people felt about Michael Mann.
Oh, they
like,
love Mann. Yeah.
This aspect, this part of his career,
that
like
podcast is because of Heat. Like they started that podcast based on the fact that Bill and CR were just so into Heat that they got together one day to do it and just turned into the podcast.
And I feel like a lot of that is like now, like "Yo, homie, is that my briefcase?" is like one of the all-time great quotes like of movies now, and that might have not been the case 10 years ago.
That line coming out of Tom Cruise's mouth just seems bizarre.
Yo, homie.
Apparently, this is his highest grossing film, Michael Mann.
Yeah. Tom Cruise probably because of Tom Cruise probably, right?
Again, playing against character type, like in this film, which is what was the most.
That was another thing in there. It was only his third role as a villain.
Third.
It was Interview with a Vampire.
Valkyrie, I think he's a bad
Valkyrie
guy.
was later though.
Valkyrie was later, or at the time, maybe it was only his third, but it was Interview with a Vampire and Taps, I think.
I haven't seen those.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, so
Interview with a Vampire, it's like kind of loose. Well, yeah, he is a villain, but
which are also both films that he dies in as well. I heard those are other films.
I don't know.
I think he dies in Taps. Yes,
probably.
Okay, so let's get into questions then. Here, I only have one. Does Max ever live up to his potential if he doesn't run into this guy? Which I know clashes against what you said because he probably would kill him at the end of this movie, which I guess is the other question because he probably would have, absolutely guaranteed, I believe. But if he didn't get it, would he ever have lived up to his potential if he did not get into his cab? Do you guys think? This is what kind of... this is kind of going more what I was saying earlier about how I think it's a good thing almost in a way that this happened because it made him step up. Like, I see him at the end of this film dating Jada Pinkett Smith and starting his business. Like, that's honestly I
think they're both going into the witness protection program, bro. Like,
it's straight up.
Gangster has no sense, bro.
Yeah, even though like it
Felix has
sad music.
Bro, they're hot, like Annie, because she's the lead prosecutor, right? And
Jamie turns into enemy of the state.
I'm being optimistic because at the end of this, I feel like he starts dating her and he starts his business because he's like, man, that guy was right.
If he doesn't like wake up in the middle of the night screaming at the top of his lungs from all the trauma. But
that's what I think.
No, I think the lesson of this movie in a weird way is that like your dreams are more simpler than you think they are. Like I think Tom Cruise kind of said it, like all it took was a fucking down payment on a car and you could have got started. Like he was prolonging finally getting onto his dreams for so long because like I need the capital, I need the client list, I need the thing, and the guy was like, bro, just do it. Like just go right into it. Don't wait so long because
you have to over prepare.
You don't have to over prepare. Just start now and then build from there. And then one of my favorite lines actually in the movie was when the guy says, 12 years isn't temporary. Like the guy's at this same shitty job for 12 years. He's like, that's not temporary, like what the fuck are you?
Sometimes you need an event in your life to
shift perspectives. The thing I wonder about the movie is that like deep down, did Tom Cruise actually want Jamie Foxx's life? Did he just want like a normal life? Because he's talking about how like his dad abused him, and the sort of like the comfort of a normal life is almost like you almost kind of would
a normal life. What justifies as a normal life these days, dude?
No, just you go to work, you come home, I don't know, you have a girlfriend, wife, whatever, kids, like normal life. Like everyone.
Yeah, but that I mean, I see them both from both perspectives, right?
He's flying in and killing people, and like my thing is like and that's a thing actually too about movies like this and like Hitman movies is like it's so interesting movies about Hitman because this is a type of character or a type of like profession that people will only ever meet through the movies. you're never gonna meet a hitman in your life, right? I mean, hopefully not, right? Like,
No.
but you will meet taxi cab drivers and
Not going to
lawyers.
live to tell anyone about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, hitman in a weird way is like the ultimate movie character. Like, how many movies have been made about hitmen and stuff like that, and they're kind of weird, and you kind of dive into the psyche of them and stuff like that.
But
They're
that's
always like the side character in mafia movies and shit like that.
Imagine them having a comforting life. Like, they all seem pretty fucked up in these movies.
But
like,
that's what I think that he did see. To go back to something you said, I think that's what Tom Cruise did see in him was untapped potential. Like he saw that he was kind of almost punishing him for the fact that he hasn't done anything in his eyes with his life, like, or done the things that he was afraid to do. Why didn't you call the girl? Why didn't you start?
But don't you think that?
Why are you doing these things?
Don't you think throwing those into his head, not like just throwing him out there, so that made Jamie Foxx think a little bit.
But don't you guys think that's like kind of cruel if you think about it from the point of the view that he was gonna kill him anyway? So why are you rubbing that shit in his face? Like,
it was like a big project. Like you said, he's very nihilistic. So he's like, let me fuck with this guy.
Yeah, he's like,
but I think Jamie Foxx,
that doesn't make him wrong.
No, it doesn't make him wrong, but it is a little sadistic, you know.
Sure, but he's a hitman. You know? Like you just
said. Like Jamie Foxx is literally taking everything in as also as a cab driver, regardless, right? He's taking a lot of stuff in, and he's figuring it out. And I think this is what made him make that, another part that played into that final switch over. Like, he's not getting out of this alive. And if he doesn't start, living up to his potential, kind of like in a
he's got to fight for it if he wants to get out.
He's got to fight for it, yeah, because it's the same way that he does. Look, I mean, he fought with it with a gunshot to the face. And there was points when he's running with that gunshot, there was barely any blood, and then another points where there's fucking crazy blood, and I'm going, what's going on here? Like, those are little like nitpicks of the movie in that sense, right? Like, he's running, it's just dried on blood, but then when he gets to a stop scene, it's just gushing out again, right?
Rejuvenator mode.
Yeah, it was starting to rejuvenate when
he got shot in the ear.
When Jamie Foxx shoots him. Yeah.
One of the other things I was reading, that apparently when they did that rollover, the taxi rollover, Tom Cruise was actually in the car, and he got a concussion and a gash, and that was real.
Does not surprise me.
There's actually a hilarious ass story that Jamie Foxx said on I think it was the Graham Norton, that British talk show host, that he said that story of when they were doing Collateral, they're doing that stunt. He wasn't actually supposed to crash the car, but then he actually did by accident crash the car, and so it did flip over. And so then the people on set or whatever, they rushed the car, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like Jamie, get out of the way. "Oh my god, Tom, are you okay?" They're kind of like brushing him away, kind of. And it was like Jamie Foxx realizing like he's not the star of the show, kind of thing. Like, when you really ain't shit when you're next to like Tom Cruise, like the like the guy said about Miles Davis,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Way to bring it all back around there. That's good. I like that. Any other questions from you guys? Questions? No.
I have a question.
Yeah,
so do you think he purposely made him visit his mom so that he could have leverage over him?
Ooh,
hey, if you run away, I'm gonna come back to her. Like he was forcing Jamie to meet her mom. He's like, "Oh, you break routine."
Well, he does use that against her later on, where he says, "If you don't go in that club, I am going to kill your mother."
But do you think he did it first because so we could have that advantage over him?
Jamie Foxx got him out of there quick by stealing his fucking briefcase, man.
No, I think at that point he was still.
You think it was one last time?
The reason that he pulled, he's like, "Oh, if you don't show up, people start looking for you." I'm like, couldn't that all just be solved with a phone call? Like, can't Jamie Foxx call his mom, be like, "Hey, I'm not going to make it out tonight," and then that's it. People are not going to look for him. But then he's like, no. He insisted that they meet her.
I think it was just playing around with him still, because there's a moment, there's a throwaway line that he says when after he throws the briefcase off of which I don't know what the hell he was thinking at that move, honestly. Like,
and he's like scared.
I know.
He was trying to see if he would shoot him. That's what I think he was trying to see.
I know, but he runs halfay away, then like throws it in like a pathetic attempt to screw him up. And
looks like he threw it onto the gardener, dude.
Yeah. But so anyways, so he does that. Then when he grabs him, he's like, let's see what else you can do. Like, what else I can make you do, essentially. Like, that's what he, like he's taking pleasure almost. Like, oh, yeah, you did that? Okay, now I'm going to go do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was really messing with him a lot. Like, at that point, he's like, so, like, I don't know. Like, that whole thing about keeping his anonymity, like by bringing him into the nightclub, I understood his reasoning behind that because he doesn't want his people that are hiring him to know who he is. But I also just think he was just going for the full extent of screwing with him at that point because of what he did to him, right? Like he was just like,
well,
yeah.
I'm gonna lean into my act of kindness on his whole thing with the you should call that girl because he's gonna die at the end. You should go visit your mom because you're gonna die at the end.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
The last time you're probably ever gonna see her, right?
That's a good point too. Yeah.
The part there where the original, I mean, Jason Statham shows up for that split second when they drop the bags off to each other. Now is he just another transporter?
That's the theory that's out there, that Jason Statham is like the transporter in that scene. Like and that's
the actual.
Max commented on that. He put a little letterbox review up, and he said, "This actually makes me want to see a Michael Mann directed transporter."
Oh my god!
But I mean, this is it was just to start to transporter in that sense. Like, I don't know, or was he in the middle of that at that time?
This is pre-transporter, I believe.
That's what I mean.
The first transporter came out 2002. The first one.
So maybe
the filmmaker of Transporter, Louis Leterrier, he actually threw out that fucking theory that that's Frank Martin. That's Transporter. Like,
well, he's like he passed it on to another hitman, in a sense, in a weird way. Like, he's just transporting something from what. It actually played out really cool because then you don't see him in the rest of the film.
I know, it's very cool.
Literally a throwaway scene. Like,
it really is. Yeah,
makes a big impact, right?
Movie pairings. Do you guys have a lot? I don't have many.
I mean, transporter. I guess we're gonna say now.
Actually,
yeah, go ahead.
But there was.
Go ahead, Jay. No. I mean, finish your thought, bro.
I mean, Enemy of the State was the same sort of way. When I thought of this, when I watched this again, I thought something like it could fall that way when it was. He kind of gave himself up as Vincent. You know what I mean? And everybody thought that's who it was, except for Ruffalo there, right?
Yeah,
Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, that and like. I swear there's a TV show I was watching series that was out recently with Hitman 2 in it like that. But I mean, there's always Tom Cruise movies you can watch with this, or there's some Jamie Foxx. I don't even know what you would pair Jamie Foxx, but I knew like Transporter and like Enemy of the State for me would be something I would be thinking along those lines of, right? Yeah. Nothing crazy.
I actually got a bunch, so I'll go last, just not to step over other people's.
Julie, do you have any? I know you kind of last minuted this one.
Okay, so if I had to go, I don't really have a lot of Michael Mann stuff in my back catalog, right? But wasn't he a producer on Public Enemies?
He directed
it. Okay, so then I would throw that in because that's one that I am really familiar with. I think that like I can't really justify why, but it made me want to rewatch Nightcrawler.
That's one of my picks.
Okay.
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Because of Los Angeles, the highlight of Los Angeles.
I guess so. Yeah, like nighttime. Yeah.
Also, like those two that are in the car together, it kind of has a similar feel of like them kind of
Jake and Riz Ahmed.
Yes.
Like Tom Cruise pairing is probably going to be Minority Report because that is one that I actually do like.
Actually, yeah, I didn't even think about these ones. Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with him on the Enemy of the State. Also, that's one that I would put with this too. Maybe like the Bourne movies.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I can't. I don't know. Yeah. I don't really have a lot.
Batman Vigilante. No.
Oh. Well, there you go.
The perfect pairing for this movie is Training Day.
Is which one?
Training Day.
That's a good ass pick.
What is that?
Training Day. You've never seen Training
Denzel
Day?
and Ethan Hawke. That's a classic. You should check that out, Julie. I think you'd like it.
I'll put it in the watch list.
Oh my God. You gotta start cracking on that watch list, man.
It's getting huge, dude.
That's what she said.
It's a very similar meeting of the minds going on in that movie with two people clashing.
That might be the pick.
That is, for me, I think that's the go-to pick. I also had
Los Angeles. One's a white guy, a black guy.
Yeah.
They're in a car all day. Take place in a 24-hour period.
Oh yeah, I've seen this poster. I don't think I've ever seen it though.
He won an Academy Award for Denzel. This is the one he won. This film. Also, Nightcrawler. I also had written down. I also wrote down the movie that not a lot of people I feel like have seen. It's called The Passenger. It was with this, what's his name? Kyle Gallner. He's like in a bunch of horror movies. This guy, if you look, he was in Smile. He was the cop in Smile. If anybody watched Smile, I know Jay. I think you watched Smile.
Yeah,
Smile. I can't remember
he's the cop that basically, if you watch Smile 2, he's in the first few minutes of Smile 2. He's the first guy that dies in that. He's been in a bunch of films. He was in the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is shit, but he's been. So this kid. This movie, The Passenger, it's literally the same type of idea with a guy. They both work at this place, and then he takes him on there's some kid that he works with. He kills somebody that's bullying him on his shift. He takes it upon himself to kill this dude in front of this guy, and then they're working at like a burger joint. And then he makes him clean up the evidence of him killing this guy. And he's like, "You're such a pussy. I'm going to take you like basically almost like on a training day kind of esque, like, you're going to be with me for the next day." And they go around and he tries to like solve all his issues in his life for him essentially. But his solution is to like kill people and like mess people up. And like, but again, it's the same thing. He gets in his head. He forcibly takes them around like his life for the day and like tries to like, it's very much like this in that same sense about like Tom Cruise kind of screwing with Jamie Foxx's character. I have it still logged on Letterboxd from a few years ago when I watched it. I gave it 4 stars, so I must have really enjoyed it. So that was called The Passenger. And then it's not really the same in theme, but I just put Taxi Driver because he's a taxi driver.
100%.
Yep.
And then I put a bunch of man pairings. I think Heat, Thief, or Miami Vice go well with this movie, honestly.
Heat and Miami. Yeah, those are solid picks. I would are you done with this? Yeah.
Yep.
I would definitely throw Heat and Miami Vice for sure. I would say David Fincher's The Killer. I would say just like another Hitman kind of movie, hit gone wrong maybe kind of thing, and he's kind of scrambling to tie up loose ends and stuff like that.
You watch The Killer?
You haven't seen it?
One of your favorite movies.
You loved it. I remember you loved it.
Yeah, you put it in your top 5.
Yeah, I was like, I know I'd seen it just because I seen the actual like thing on here. I was like, clued in.
Out of all 3 of us, you actually liked it the most upon the first watch.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
That's the Benedict. No, not Benedict Cumberbatch. What's his name?
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender. Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Terminator. That's totally what I thought of.
Oh yeah.
Referencing it the whole time.
I know.
Because that totally reminded me of the last 20 minutes when he just the Vincent character just becomes a monster. He doesn't even become a human being. He's just a monster.
Like the T-1000. Yeah.
He's the wolf on the hunt. Like you see the hunt in his eyes.
I don't know why I didn't notice that.
Totally the Terminator. And when I watched it, I was like, "This is so the Terminator." And to hear you keep bringing up the Terminator, I'm like, "Yes."
Max, I do this for a living.
I have a job I'm contracted to do, right?
Yeah.
Fucking. It reminds me of a line from The Shining that Jack Nicholson says. "Oh, I have a job that I'm contracted." I wonder if that's. This is kind of a weird one, but it's similar as far as like the optics of the movie. Once Upon a Time in the West, the Sergio Leone film. The reason why is because that movie was so notable for the fact that Henry Fonda, who was like the good guy in Hollywood, was always playing like the moral center of all the movies he was in, played a villain, and he played a villain very menacingly, and it was like against type. It was like one of the biggest examples of like a guy kind of just playing a villain that he was always playing the hero, and I think that's with Tom Cruise in this movie. This is like the villain role of his career.
Also, like Terminator, he played the bad guy in the first film, hated it, never wanted to play a bad guy again.
Oh yeah,
comes back in the second film
as a hero.
A good guy.
Yeah, good one. And then you know what? I'm gonna do like these are the 2 ones that I'll probably like make the most sense to me. Is the ones that these are sort of like change your life movies, like philosophically. Like Collateral is like a movie where it's like you look at this and you feel like you're in a rut, maybe you should get out of it. So the 2 ones are The Shawshank Redemption, because I feel like that's like that movie is just like a hope machine. Like it kind of just boosts hope. And then The Game, another David Fincher movie.
Oh, I love
where
The Game.
He's like stuck in a rut and he kind of is sort of receded as a human being. And
I love The Game.
He needs a kick in the ass.
I love Michael Douglas. I mean,
he's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
And so those are
good
picks.
Are my picks. Good picks. Nice. All right. And then finally, Legacy. Honestly, for me, this is just me personally. this is Cruise for me. Like the Cruise is a legacy for this film because this is when I started to come around on Cruise as an actor, as like this is when, like I said, between this and Last Samurai, which came out the year before this, which are such weird picks because no one, like in terms of like Cruise's big films, these are like, I feel like way lower on the list, especially Last Samurai, but I love both of these movies starring Tom Cruise. And this is when I really started to come around on him as an actor. For me personally, so like I think like that, and like I said, this is for me one of his coolest roles that he's been in. And like Max said earlier, something I didn't touch on is like when I watched this, I don't know if it was like my first Michael Mann film I ever watched, but I didn't even recognize him as a director at this time. All about Cruise in this movie for me at this time, playing this badass character. So like now I look back on it, I'm like, oh, cool, that was a Michael Mann movie, but I didn't really recognize that at that time. I mean, maybe the only other movie I had seen that he directed at that point in time was probably Public Enemies. Honestly, like that came afterwards, I think, right? Or
09.
But like, so maybe this was my first Michael Mann movie I'd seen, because I never seen Heat at that time. I never saw Public Enemies. I would have watched years later. And all the other films in my top 5 that I mentioned either came after or I hadn't seen at that point in time. I've only recently watched in the last few years. So yeah, I'm, really it was a lot to do with like your championing of him that I kind of really seeked out and watched more of his films. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give credit.
I was going to say, I thought it was more of a Max.
Absolutely. What? Not one of my favorite
director. I thought I remember that in a conversation you guys had.
No, but I like him now. Just at the time it wasn't like, he wasn't a name.
No.
Let's say, yeah.
I feel like at one point it was maybe a bigger name for Max, and
like he said, the Rewatchables podcast was a big part of.
They're really the guys who I think are like the real champions of this whole Michael Mann like reappraisal that's been going on in recent years. Like people are even like looking at like, hopefully they do the same for like Public Enemies and Black Hat, because I think those are the ones
they've done. Black Hat. Public Enemies is the only one.
No, I didn't mean as a rewatchable. I meant like people turning around their opinion on those movies as far
people really dislike Public Enemies.
Yeah, but I rewatched it a few years ago. And I liked it a little more. So I feel like it's inching closer. Like there is something I think to Public Enemies, but whatever. That's another conversation for another day. But I
also haven't seen Last of the Mohicans. I saw
it only one time, so I have to rewatch that
Daniel
one too.
Day-Lewis.
Yeah,
though,
Daniel Day-Lewis.
So it must be good.
I need to rewatch that one. That's another. The thing is with Michael Mann, when I first was watching his films, there wasn't a lot of them that I absolutely adored the first time I watched them. I was like, this is cool, this is good, I like this. But Collateral, I remember, and I was watching it before I ever knew who he was a movie that the first time I saw it, I loved it. And that's why it doesn't surprise me that this is his most highest grossing film. This is the one with Tom Cruise in it. This is the one that is just accessible, and I've kind of been saying that, but it's worth repeating. It's his most accessible film to me. That's the legacy. I think this is also it gives legitimacy to both Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx as like real actors who could really do anything, like because they're just playing characters that are so different from who they normally play. Yeah, both of them really. And it's just a fantastic entry from a great director, and it's watch it. It's a good movie.
JT, Julie, any legacy for this film?
Just a great film. I mean, there's nothing really much to say in that sense. I think nowadays you couldn't get away with half the Hitman shit that they pulled off in this one. I don't think they'll. That kind of falls off the sort of having a legacy, in that sense. I mean, there's hitmen out there everywhere you look, but it's hard to stay off the radar, like he said. And I always wondered, like, too, you think if somebody was on the train over here in the city, it can go back and forth up Bloor before anybody would notice?
Yeah, probably.
100%.
For 6 hours, eh?
I don't ride the rocket on the train and nobody does anything.
Especially if it's not obvious that he's passed. Like if it's not blood all over, and you know what I mean.
That's why when we started talking about scenes and quotes, that's the first one I mentioned, because I'm like, combined with the ending and the way they foreshadowed that, I think it's one of the best takeaways and comments about big cities in general, or just humanity in general, in this film. Like that's why. Yeah, I thought that was very.
A lot of it's got to do with this shit too now, right?
Well, that too. How we're distracted, all these distractions all over the place, and exactly. I just think it's just like, despite like you said, what his attitude towards things, he was spot on with that commentary. I felt like this character in this movie, he was right about that. Like, as nihilistic as he was on humanity in this film, he was like when he left him with that final things, revisiting him saying that, and you don't see anybody approach him as the train, and he leaves his dead body on the train, and he fucking comes off the train. That's the most impactful part of this film for me, honestly. I'm just like, yeah, there you go. Like, that is exactly what happened. How many stops would it have taken that morning for somebody to notice?
Well, that's how easy you don't notice each other. You pass each other on the subway like they did in the morning, right? Just, so it was like that. Same thing. You don't notice.
Yep. And then because of a turn of fate, he got in his cab instead of not getting in his cab, right?
Yeah.
Like
just cosmic coincidence,
yes,
right? Is that the word?
Yeah. Stars aligning.
Do you have an equation to describe that, JT? Or
yeah, it is. It's the stars. It's the stars aligning. I don't know the exact equation. I'd have to ask my friend Angelo. But
ChatGPT.
Julie, anything else you want to add to this?
Nah, it would all just be a repetition of the same thing. It's just that I think I would agree that it is probably the most accessible, but I don't know enough to really make that judgment call, but it is a very accessible, tight 2-hour action film that I think appeals to a broad audience. So it's a good entry into like the Michael Mann catalog. I feel like.
I showed Andrew this movie, by the way. Like, I
yeah?
told him about it. Yeah, I told him to check it because he's also a huge Michael Mann fan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, I'm glad everyone here enjoyed it. I'm glad we got to discuss it. It's definitely one that we've been talking about amongst each other, I feel like, for a lot recently. So I just had to be my go-to for this one. And I already, even though it's a few picks away, I already got my next one lined up. That's going to be a little bit more topical and timely. So I needed to kind of throw this one out. No, it's my next pick falls in between Christmas and Halloween, actually. So,
okay.
But anyways, Julie, why don't you now take it away though, and let us know what your next pick is.
Julie,
does that mean so my next pick would fall where?
Like the last week of September?
Your next pick is going to be in October, essentially. It falls, but don't feel any pressure in terms of
no. So yeah, this one will come. The next one will come out, but the one following that,
it's going to come out. No, it's going to come out in October.
Week,
yeah.
No, after this one.
Oh, yours.
My next turn after,
Christmas time almost. It's probably going to be started December or last week in November.
I'm being strategic about my choice here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
If our picks fall on a holiday, do we have to do a holiday thing?
No, because I think some of our theme episodes that we're gonna incorporate now is gonna capture some of that. I was actually just gonna throw out a tease right now about that.
For Hanukkah.
Exactly, Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Well, for instance, next month Halloween for October. Because I know a lot of you aren't like big horror fans, maybe my outside of JT, and I know you also watch some as well. I just meant like me and Christine are going to be putting together some like horror movie related theme short episode content for the channel here when it comes to October, just because she normally comes on and does a pick around then, but I didn't want her to like have to like hijack a pick again this year, so we're going to basically put out our own.
You're like, I'm not giving her a pick. I want to take it this year.
No. I just felt like we have some fun ideas.
But you guys also watch like a horror movie a day, literally in July.
For instance,
October.
We're going to be doing a tier list for a horror franchise. I'm going to tease that right now in October. That we're actually going to be watching all of the films for. If you want a tease of what that could be, check out my letterbox, right? So that's all I'll say about that. But
see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. But go ahead, Julie.
So, okay, they know that I was stuck between two picks, but I think when I thought about putting it up to a vote, and I thought about like if the result panned out this way, I'd probably be kind of like, oh, I kind of wanted to watch the other one. So that sort of like solidifies for me that we should watch. Like it sort of decides for me that I kind of want to watch one more than the other. So I've talked about this one before, and I've sort of teased that we should do this one. I don't think anybody else has seen it but me so far, but I'm gonna make us watch Riddle of Fire finally.
Which one?
What's it called?
Riddle of Fire. After we watched Florida Project, I suggested it as a pairing. And it's just fun. It's about 3 kids that go on this little whimsical woodland journey on this errand, and like a bunch of crazy shit happens, but it's just like...
Yeah, you have it on Want to Watch as a result of her probably talking about it on Letterboxd. So yeah okay, yes, I've seen this.
2023?
Yeah, it was at a bunch of film festivals. I think it was at TIFF. It got nominated for stuff at Cannes. Yeah, it's Weston Rizzulli is the director. It's the only thing he's ever done, and it's
interesting.
It's really well done for what it is. Like,
not on my radar at all.
But I don't care. I really like it, and yeah, I'll save my other one for a later episode. It's not one that needs attention as much. It gets attention. This one is kind of an under the radar. Not a lot of people have seen it, I feel like,
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, not on my radar at all. I'm looking forward to it. That's always good to...
It's a fun movie.
Nice. Perfect. All right. Yeah. Riddle of Fire will be our next pick, guys. Make sure to check that out a couple of weeks after this one drops. By the time you're watching this, it'll come out a couple weeks later. We do these twice a month. And then we're also going to be doing some more theme episodes. We've basically discarded the format of Late Night Letterboxd for anybody that's checked those videos out. But we're going to still be putting out monthly what we've been watching videos out, essentially like Late Night Letterboxd, just like a little bit different in terms of formatting, and also some theme episodes as well. So make sure to go check those things out. You'll see them in the playlist. We'll put all of our movie content in the same spot for you guys. So
nice.
All right, so I guess with that all being said, though, unless anybody has anything else to leave us with, yo, homie, is that my briefcase? I guess we're out. This was Collateral, and episode 70, we'll be talking about Riddle of Fire, which will be Julie's next pick. All right, everybody. See you next time. Welcome to the show, everybody.